There he is. We'll just wait one more minute. We are recording our expo tonight. So I hope everyone is okay with that.
You feel free to turn your cameras off if you are uncomfortable with that.
All right, let's get started. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 Ethics in Action Design Expo. I'm Karen Rizak. I'm the director of the Ethics Institute at Kent Place School, and I am delighted that you have joined us tonight for this very special virtual event. Before we go any further, I would like to introduce my teammates, the Ethics in Action team, my colleagues with whom I have been working for over a year to make this a project a reality. First, we have Lisa Yokana. Lisa is the STEAM coordinator at Scarsdale High School. We have Marnie Endlick. Marnie is a STEM educator from Golda Ox School. Both Lisa and Marnie are ongoing consultants and co-creators with the Ethics Institute on this Ethics in Action program and have been for the past 6 years. And Francesca Menard. Francesca is our Ethics Institute intern. She is a senior at Tulane University. And we want to thank especially Francesca for all of the work that she's done in coordinating this evening's event. I also want to thank the E.E. Ford Foundation for their support in sponsoring the creation and the implementation of this Ethics in Action program. So tonight is the culmination of about 3 months worth of work on the part of our middle school and high school teams. The Ethics in Action program combines the study of ethics with the practice of design thinking. This year, our teams and their facilitators devoted themselves to identifying a local problem related to UN Sustainability Goal number 3, which is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Tonight, you are going to hear the pitches of all of our middle school and high school teams. And by the end of the evening, and we will announce it tomorrow at noon, we are going to award a $1,000 gift to implement the design of the best middle school design and best high school design. So I would like to congratulate all of our students who have participated in this program. And I would like right now for the facilitators of our middle school teams to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. I'm Francesca Menard. I'm one of the facilitators for the middle school groups, in addition to being the Ethics Institute intern.
Juliana?
Hi, everyone. I'm Juliana. I'm another one of the facilitators for the middle school groups, and I'm a junior at Tulane.
Okay, welcome. Naomi?
Hi, I'm Naomi. I'm also a facilitator for one of the middle school groups, and I am a sophomore at Tulane University.
Bing?
Hello, I am one parent and also a facilitator for one of the groups.
Thank you. Are there any other facilitators on who I cannot see on the screen? Okay. Well, I want to thank you, facilitators, for all of the time that you have put in over the last 3 months to making this, to make this evening happen. And of course, I want to acknowledge and thank our judges who are with us this evening, Dr. Richard Marfugi. Richard, if you could just wave. Thank you very much. Mr. Joseph Weisgold is here. And Mr. Tom Laughlin is here. Thank you. Unfortunately, Poppy Jamie will not be able to join us tonight because of illness. I should tell you that all 4 judges have received your pitch videos ahead of time and have had a chance to look at them, digest them, and are ready with any questions after we all see the pitches. So I will now turn it over to my colleague, Lisa Yokana, who will tell us the format for tonight's expo.
Thank you, Dr. Vizak. Okay, so this is how it's going to run. We are going to do 3 pitches from 3 teams, and then we will take 5 minutes to do a question and answer. If you have a question for a team as you're watching their pitch video, if you could kindly put it in the chat and I will monitor it. If you could say which team it's for, because they will tell you their team name at the beginning of their pitch, and then write the question. And then when those 3 pitches are done, I will read out the questions and the young ladies will answer those questions live for us. So that's the way it's going to work. And hopefully we'll have some questions for our teams because they put a lot of thought and time into their pitches and their ideas.
And I want to thank all of you for your patience ahead of time. Running this virtual event can be a little bit quirky and a little bit scary. And so thank you in advance in case there are any glitches. So we will now go to our first group, our first 3 middle school teams. Group 1, Kira Kapoor, Alexis Zhang, Serena Lin, Gretchen Wang, and Cecilia Hirawat. Their facilitator, Naomi Fine. Group 2 is Augie Burrows, Dan Ziner-Morrish, and Jordan Varma, and Francesca is their facilitator. And Group 3, Gabrielle Beckham, Jonavi Panulu, and Nia McDaniel, and their facilitator, Juliana. So we will now see Group 1's pitch video.
A Guide to Our Product by Our Ethical Solution to Lunchroom Waste, A Guide to Our Product by Gretchen Wang, Kira Kapoor, Serena Lin,
and Alexis Zhang. Okay, so for our product overview, we decided to show that we have a cup, and the cup is basically able to fold into itself after use to not only save space, but so it's made out of compostable cardboard, which is environmentally friendly and convenient. Our container is a tray life, and it's an eco-friendly way for students to have a thing to hold their school lunches. It can be thrown out after a single use and doesn't harm the environment.
So container function. The container is made out of biodegradable materials called sugarcane fiber. There are multiple and slidable sections for food which help promote healthy eating. There is a small pocket on the side for utensils, and the bottom of the lunchbox has a layer of wax paper, which is also biodegradable to make sure the bottom is not only durable, but also leak-proof. Function of our cup. Our cup is made of compostable, which, as I mentioned before, is biodegradable. The cup has jogger edges so that it can easily fold down into itself. And the cup saves space once folded down, then it's easier to throw out and makes for space. Utensils. The utensils pop out of our box to save materials, and these utensils are made out of the same material as our lunchbox, which is sugarcane fiber, so they're biodegradable as well. There's an outline in the box to make easy pop out and usage.
We created this product because we feel like school cafeterias don't provide eco-friendly dining materials. And this alternative provides biodegradable components that are just as effective as plastic materials. And we felt that the prominent use of plastic was damaging our environment. Everyday plastic from utensil packets, plastic cups, plastic containers are thrown in the trash, and it can take global warming to the next level. With our product, less plastic will be used and thrown every day, and it can make a positive impact on the world. Okay, so our users, so how does our product assist or impact them? So
we have three either users or stakeholders. The first one being dining staff who fill out the lunchbox, for the students' needs or what they want. The second one is the students and faculty. So our product would help them so that they don't have to hold multiple containers or boxes all at once, and it's super convenient. And lastly, we have the environment. So our product would be able to assist the environment because the materials are all eco-friendly and can break down over time, unlike a lot of materials such as plastic. Thank you for listening. We hope you can consider our product, and please let us know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And these are our emails.
I just want to add that we will be sending all of these videos and making them available to everyone so that you will have a chance to contact the students should you have any questions. So thank you very much, Group 1. We will now go to Group 2's pitch video.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Ethics in Action presentation. I'm August. I'm Dan. And I'm Jordan. And we've decided to focus our presentation on gender inclusivity at Kent Place. An overview of our project is that we wanted to focus on the health and safety of transgender students at Kent Place. Our how might question is how might we improve education and language at Kent Place to support students of all genders? At many schools, transgender and identity are assumed, which can be very limiting and restrictive, especially at Kent Place, a historically all-girls school. The main user of our action plan are the transgender students at Kent Place School. Other stakeholders involved are the faculty, staff, and other students at Kent Place School. The importance of this project is because it helps trans students feel comfortable and empowered in the school setting. It also can provide knowledge to help students support everyone within the school community, and it fits the needs of our stakeholders because it improves the mental well-being of trans students at Kent Place, and also creates a form of mutual respect between the student body and the faculty when it comes to identity and gender. Our goals for our action plan focus around education and language at Kent Place. There are two different types of education that need to happen for Kent Place to fully support everyone of all genders. For student education, we would like to make revisions to the HELP curriculum to make it more inclusive on the gender spectrum. We would like students to learn more about different genders and how to be supportive of their peers. For faculty education, we would like teachers to learn about how to respect students' identity and pronouns and to provide them with resources. Another thing that many schools have included in Kent Place is a school handbook, and we would like to make revisions that change gender language to gender neutral language to just be inclusive of the entire student body, as well as just language and norms used inside the classroom and without. We want to be mindful of our gender language and kind of shift the focus to the normalization of gender neutral language. Some important milestones that we have were that we conducted interviews with our peers, users, and stakeholders. We defined our ideas in a formal proposal, and we test our ideas by going over them with the head of school. Just to expand upon and what is on our slides, we wanted to expand a little bit on the interviews. We conducted interviews with many of the trans students that attend Kent Place School, which is a historically all-girls school, as we mentioned earlier. And a lot of them communicated that they would like to see changes in the language in the classroom, as well as the handbook. And many of them did communicate that the assumptions of gender and identity and pronouns does hinder their learning and makes them feel uncomfortable in the classroom, which therefore impacts their overall attitude to school and ability to focus within the classroom. And handing it off to Dan, who can talk about our proposal. Yeah, and then just from those interviews, we were able to create proposals about what we would like to happen. So our proposals focus around the education and language, as we mentioned before. From our interviews, we really got feedback on what they would like to see happen at Kent Place, and we could take that and we also brought it to the head of school to see how achievable this is, and we incorporated the design process where we talked to, since we talked to a lot of people, we got feedback, and we were able to change or improve our action plan.
Right, and when we talk about our mentorship process, we talked to the head of school and the diversity head, as well as Dr. Marcucci, who helped us kind of like voice these issues with gender and the LGBT community, and helped us kind of formulate our ideas in a specific group, as our original thing was very broad. And we also there are many groups at Kent Place that already target only the students. We wanted to build off of them and introduce this new area of gender training for the faculty, as well as we created a formal proposal. So we are building off of some pre-existing groups. We are also building off of them into a new area.
Thank you for watching. Do you have any questions or feedback?
Okay, thank you very much to Group 2. We have time for questions and feedback for the first 3 groups after we finish now the pitch video for group number 3 of our middle school teams.
I'm Gabby.
And school. Hi, we're the professors, and we go to Kent Place School. I'm
Gabby.
And I'm Genevieve. The problem space. We want to start helping students who are learning online in terms of the attention and instruction they're receiving from teachers, and also looking at how to help them focus better while doing school on their computers and from home. This problem is important to solve because sometimes when part of the class is virtual, it's hard for students to focus. Not only the students have to face problems such as this, teachers as well.
Our design. The toolkit is a book of recommendations and resources to make online school easier and more inclusive of online students. In the toolkit, there are suggestions on how to organize your learning space in order to be more productive during online schooling, and a curriculum that is more suitable to online learning. Also, a way online learners can go over what they learned with other students through peer tutoring. All of these components are made to help and support students learning online and helping teachers be more accommodating.
Our users. The toolkit has all the needs of the teacher and the student. This helps students to stay more focused and organized during class, and teachers and administrators to be prepared for any situation. Remind is an app that helps students and teachers message more efficiently with a messaging system. Teachers are alerted by a ding sound. The sound helps the teachers to notice the notification and respond quickly to students. It is needed so that kids learning from home can connect and socialize with teachers from far away. It also helps teachers respond faster to students' questions because they notice the ding sound more than a Zoom chat question. It will be used on a student laptop and on the teacher's phones or laptops. Students can use it to ask the teacher questions and message them during school on their laptop or phone. Through this, kids can ask questions without having to yell or try and speak loud so others can hear. Setting up your learning space at home. People need help to set it up and stay focused and motivated. They could use objects from around their house to make colorful photos and pictures to add around. This will help them make the space brighter and cheerful. What are some questions someone should ask themselves when setting up their Zoom space? The questions I would ask myself are, is everything going to distract me? What people around me will distract me? Do I have everything I need to make a good workspace for me to learn my best?
Tutoring will help virtual students stay on track with their learning and making sure that they know what's going on. With virtual learning, sometimes it's harder to focus and concentrate on school. With peer tutoring, a student can go over what they learned in class with a kid that is in that class. The peer tutor will be paired by a Google form. Tutors will benefit from being a peer tutor by getting extra credit from teachers or homework tasks.
Class time alternatives. Screen break activities. These will be printed out sheets and activities so that online students can have a break from screen time. The teacher can still watch the student doing their work, but the student doesn't have to look at the screen. We have a list of activity ideas to provide the teachers. The teachers can change these ideas to fit the material students learn in their class. These workbooks are needed because they will give students a break from the screen and let them do something more engaging and active and fun, of course. So this is a sample of the ChemPlace virtual learning packet. This is the table of contents. We have science, math, English, history, and language. Science. Home activity. Write your observations and draw a picture of a microbiologist. Math. These are some of the problems. And you have a few word problems like how many corners are on 2 squares. English. Write a paragraph about a time at home where you felt warm and cozy. Highlight 5 new vocabulary words. History. Write about an important time in history. Choose your language and do the activity. Thank you for listening, and I hope you consider our idea. When school isn't a place you have to be.
Okay, and so now we have some questions from the chat and I just want to encourage everyone who's participating. You can all put a question in the chat. Thank you. So I'm going to try to manage this. So group 1, are you ready for your questions? Hopefully you have someone who's going to answer. So we have a bunch of questions for group 1. The first one is, how is the food packaged? Group 1, are we there?
Sorry, I'll take this question. It is actually not going to be packaged because we did not find a resource that we think would be benefit to the environment. We decided that we would let the staff put the food onto the trays for the students instead of the students grabbing it individually. That way, not only do you save resources, but it's a lot less work for the students, and the cafeteria people have the equipment they need to make sure that they aren't contaminating the food.
Perfect. Okay, you're still up, group 1. Have you considered collapsing the reusable cup?
That was actually our idea for the cup. Our original design was to make it collapsible. That way it takes up less space, but the materials it's made out of still can be not harmful for the environment.
Okay, great. And group 1, we still have a few more for you. Have you considered reusing the tray with a disposable liner? Group 1?
I'm sure that it's possible to reuse the trays if it's not like too dirty. I think you could just switch out the wax paper in the bottom, and since the little parts are slidable, you can just fix up the proportions if you want a different type of proportion, I guess, for foods. So yeah.
Great. And one more. There's a couple more for you. Can you share any experience that you had with prototypes and/or testing, group 1?
So actually we had, with the foldable cup, we had a lot of, I think it was the difficulties getting through that, because it's kind of hard to design a prototype from home and make it collapsible and everything, and all the features, the cool features that you want to add in. So yeah, that was one experience. I know that my group experienced.
Great. One more for you, Wastebusters. What are they currently using in the cafeteria? And are they currently using single-use plastic, or do they wash their dishes and trays?
At the moment, we have utensils in a single-use plastic, wrap, and our meals are served to us in like a box, sort of. I'm not sure how to describe the box, but.
Okay, great. Couple more for group 1. What's the benefit of disposable cups, trays, flatware over reusable, washable equivalents?
Why we didn't decide to do washable ones was because of COVID, of course. We wanted to make sure that it was 100%. I mean, with it being reusable, you need to make sure that it's 100% clean. And since you're eating from it, we can't have that risk of kids catching COVID just from the trays not being sanitary enough. So we decided to make it non-reusable, but still having materials that are beneficial for the environment.
Great. Couple more, one more. Could you possibly include sizes and measurements inside the container and cup? Brilliant idea and presentation.
I think that's a great idea. I don't think we did not actually measure our box, but I think in the future, if we were to improve upon that idea, we would definitely do that. So thank you for the.
Great. One more for group 1. Group 1's got a lot. Are there already biodegradable trays that KPS could use? Did you do any research around that?
If anyone else wants to add on to this, but the trays that we researched that could be used by KemPlace were all very expensive, and we as a group didn't feel like using biodegradable trays would be super effective. So we decided not.
Okay, great. So on to group 2. We have a few questions for you all. One of our judges wanted to know how many interviews were conducted.
I think we interviewed every out trans person in our grade in the 8th grade, and then we also interviewed some people in the 7th grade, but we don't have much contact with any of the 6th graders.
Okay, great. Another question for group 2 and a comment. This is an ongoing process. Consider how you would promote it over several years. I think that's more of a question. Excuse me.
Promotion over several years, something that I don't think was mentioned enough in our video was the revisions to the health curriculum, which was a big part of our our ideas. And so we think that if revisions were made to the health curriculum and they just continued to be revised as things changed, we can make long-lasting changes as well as the changes of the handbook.
Yeah,
okay, great.
And just to add on to that, we have a health class, and our health teacher, we were learning about gender and sexuality, and I think a lot of the students were adding things, and it was a really great back and forth, and the teachers at KemPlace really do want to support the transgender community within the school, but they just really need to hear our voices. So we were able to have a conversation with the head of the health curriculum, and we're continuing to talk to her, and we would think that can continue throughout the years as things progress, and we think that would be a really good long-term thing.
Great. One more for you guys. Can you describe how you might measure successful impact of the toolkit?
Inclusivity is kind of hard to map in terms of success because of just the kind of concept of it, but we think definitely if we see more kind of people asking these productive questions, like, for example, what are your pronouns, or just in the classroom, they're kind of being less of an assumption. And of course, there are also then some specific goals that we have, like gender neutral language being used in the handbook, as well as like inclusive health curriculum. So we think that even though a lot of it is hard to measure, just asking more of these empathetic questions and also revisions to some of the systems that we already have.
Great.
Yeah, and add on that, I think. Oh, can I just okay. And just adding on to it, I think another way to measure success is if we reach out to the transgender students within our community and we ask if they feel supported and comfortable and safe within the Kent Place community. I think that is a great way to measure success because that's really just the whole goal of our project.
Great, thank you. One more for group 2. Given the small number of transgender students on campus, what kind of connections to other transgender students off campus perhaps would you seek to make with this program?
Well, as we mentioned before, like a lot of the things that we've talked about are things that have already being done in the school and have been going on in other schools across America. And we think getting in connection with other people with similar goals in mind, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really beneficial to see maybe how other schools are conducting a similar program or toolkit. And I think if we can reach out to other transgender students at different schools and see how they feel about this, like how this should be done.
Great, thank you. All right, group 3, are we ready? Okay, great. How are the handbook and the app connected? Who writes the handbook activities?
There's like a template that the teachers can use, and then the teachers can incorporate what they're learning or like what they're teaching, and then into the template that was already created.
Okay. One of our judges has said the home learning environment is very important. Consider concentrating on this as it has a great effect on learning. And then a question. Oh no, this is another consideration. Consider adding a timer so that students take a regular break from screens. Most of us don't realize how much time we are spending staring at the screen. That is true. Okay, a question for you, group 3. Can you share any feedback from teachers about the Remind feature?
Well, some of us, we interviewed the teachers and they explained to us that it was hard to change their lesson or customize their lesson if the kids were in remote school and online. And on campus, so it's hard for them to change lessons. So they think that it's a good idea for students to have different lessons to change the lesson for the students.
Great. One more question for group 3, which will wrap it up. Is the opportunity for extra credit or the peer tutoring only available for in-person students? How is this fair for remote students that would desire extra credit as well?
So the extra credit is for all students. The only difference between in-person and virtual students would be that the tutoring sessions would be over Zoom instead of like outside or during conference or something. But it's also sort of helpful because then like you can do it also outside of school on a Zoom. So that way there's more time for the peer tutoring.
Great, and that wraps up our questions for the first round of videos.
Congratulations to our first 3 middle school teams. Okay, we will now move to our second group of 3, the COVID conscious carpool with Severa Rigby, Riley Doyle, Caitlin Anderson, and Ella Peterson. The disposable dilemma, Claire Cheryl, Cooper Grogan, and Ava Buglioni. And our third group, I have to be able to scroll down, I'm sorry. Team Sagita presenting the Together app, Amira Ali, Katie McKay, and Ayushi Wadwa. Let's go to group 4, COVID conscious carpool.
and our group name is the Carpool Kids. So hi, our names are Sabera, Riley, Caitlin, and Ella, and we're in 7th grade. We decided to join Ethics in Action because we wanted to help out and solve a problem in the Kent Place community.
So we're looking to create a system to make an efficient carpooling service to help parents in need of a better mode of transportation to and from school. We're going to set out a form to collect information from parents that are interested in the service. We would put parents and guardians in the same area in contact with one another so they could work out the best solution for them and just kind of communicate and make decisions together. It would be a very individualized thing because each parent can make a decision of when they can and can't drive. With carpooling, we looked at the challenges of the COVID-19 virus shows. And we saw there needed to be a pledge signed and participants pledged to take necessary safety precautions such as sanitizing the vehicle between rides and wearing masks. We call this service the CCC, COVID Conscious Carpooling.
How does it work? So first up, of course, you'll have your morning routine and then COVID protocols for drivers. So it will be clean and safe and healthy. And then you'll get to school on time and you have a COVID safe car ride home. Why did we create this? Why do we feel like this was probably interviewed a couple students and they all said that it was a little more tough than it used to be than a bus. We also realized that there was a problem with busing in the COVID climate. And then we also decided that we could help with this. We could meet people and we could find a solution and help more parents like Annie's that needed.
Who did we make this for and who is the user? Parents. We made this for parents who have difficulty getting their kids to and from school. Examples are parents who don't have a bus to their town, parents who have a long drive to the nearest KPS bus stop, and parents whose new work schedules as a result of COVID have trouble finding the time to drive their kids to school.
Design process. So originally the idea started off as an idea to help students who no longer had access to school buses in the system. And this was because some towns couldn't afford the buses that they were cut off. And our project developed a lot from our first idea after interviewing with students who've had problems and the head of the transportation department. We decided to expand our idea to everyone who has trouble getting to and from school. We also sent out a survey to understand if people are interested. We are currently waiting for responses from them and hope it can help us expand our idea even more. We evolved our idea from just helping students to helping parents have easier mornings.
So to help the design helps the user because it's really individualized, as we talked about before. And this just means that we know everyone's morning routine is a little bit different, and we know everyone's process of getting out of the house and getting to school is a little bit different, but we could kind of use each other and communicate back and forth to kind of figure out how would be best for all parties involved to get to school on time and safely. And then it would also help them because they'd have to make the drive to school less. So even though some days they had the responsibility of driving these kids to school, they would be able to kind of do it less and have more days where they don't have to worry about this responsibility. There would be connections formed with people in the same town. So if you need like that, which is just all around beneficial, because you have someone you can like that is near you in case of like any emergencies or just because of, in case of anything. And there's also flexible responsibilities, which means that like when you can and can't drive, you can kind of make a decision on that together. And because they're close in the same town and we're kind of introducing them to each other, they'll be able to kind of work it out together. And it also makes the design of our users of being safe and like COVID conscious, because there would be like protocols that we would tell them about and inform them on that they would have to follow. And this would make sure that everyone in the car and everyone driving to school has a safe ride. Thank you. That's our design. That's our pitch.
Thank you very much. That was group number 4. We'll now go to group 5, the disposal dilemma.
Hi, I'm Ava. I'm Claire.
And I'm Cooper.
And this is our Ethics in Action project. Our project is called the Disposal Dilemma. And first in our presentation, we're going to identify our problem area and explain that and go into depth in that area. And then we're going to move on to the solution that we created. So when identifying our problem area, we used a how might we statement. Our how might we statement is how might we create a product that allows people to dispose of masks in a safe and environmentally friendly way. This is some general background information on our problem area. Paper masks are actually made of plastic materials such as polypropylene. It is estimated that in 2020, 52 billion masks were manufactured. If there is no solution created, it is possible that over 1.56 billion masks could end up polluting our oceans. And when you break it down, that ends up being between 4,860 to 6,240 tons of extra waste in our ocean.
Who's involved? Some of the primary stakeholders that affected our solution were anyone who uses a mask. This can be anyone that's leaving their house, maybe to go to school or to work, or for any other reason. Anyone who picks up a dirty mask on the ground. This can range from anyone from a cleaning staff at a school or at a business to any civilian that sees a mask on the ground and feels obliged to pick it up. Potential companies who have received the donated masks will elaborate more on this in our solution later. Information about the survey. When creating a solution, we decided to send out a survey to the Kent Place Middle School students and teachers. This survey was mainly about how masks impact the community in negative and positive ways. Here's some information that we gathered in the survey. What do you do when you see a mask on the ground? A majority of people said that they don't touch it due to germs. Another popular answer was to do nothing. We assume that they do nothing because of the germ aspect of it, or maybe because someone is telling them not to pick it up. What type of mask do you typically wear? Most people said that they wear a cloth mask, and then a majority of the other people also said that they use a surgical mask. And another popular answer was to use a KN95 mask. How do you dispose of your used masks? We had 2 main answers here. One of them, the majority of people said that they just reuse them. And then another popular answer was to dispose them in the garbage at home.
And considering all the stakeholders as well as the questions on the survey, we came up with the idea of having a specialized garbage can that has 2 sections for cloth and surgical masks, in order to separate them before donation, as well as a grabber that people can use to pick up masks off of the ground so that they don't have to touch it, as germs was a big issue that we identified in the survey. Here are some images of the model that we created. Expanding on the solution. We also thought about how to make the grabber more sanitary, as it would be in a public place and people don't want to touch something that a lot of other people have touched. So we thought about having wipes on them, such as Lysol wipes, in order to clean it off after use. To expand on what would happen to the separated cloth and paper masks after they're in the bin, we would donate them to companies that are willing to take these materials. So cloth and paper masks, we researched, and cloth and paper masks both have materials such as polypropylene and cloth that are actually the same materials in feminine hygiene products. So we determined that if possible, we would donate these materials to a feminine hygiene company that would be willing to use them to make their products. If that was not possible, we would use the company of Blue Lake Packaging, and they focus on reducing plastic waste and taking in materials and giving them to other places for use. So we could give our materials there or find a company partnering with them that would take our materials.
Before we came up with our final solution, we also thought about a lot of different alternatives. Some of our main ones were finding a way to make masks out of other materials such as paper. We also considered making a shredder to make masks easier to dispose of. Both aspects of our final solution were both individual before we decided that we can combine them to make them even better. Finally, we decided on this one in the end because we thought it best addressed the concerns in the survey as well as all the stakeholders.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. These are really wonderful. Okay, we'll go now to our final middle school team, Group 6, the Team Sagita, the Together app.
Our product is Together, to share and inspire. It's a safe and kind digital community for tween girls. I'm Amira.
I'm Katie McKay. And I'm Ayushi Wadwa.
We are Team Sagita, a 6th grade team from Kent Place. Sagita is a constellation that symbolizes an arrow. We chose this because an arrow is always aiming for a target, and we are solving a very specific problem. It's our target.
The problem we are solving is how might we help middle school girls stay connected in a pandemic. This first graph over here shows US girls' teenage suicide rates. Now in this graph, it shows how suicide rates doubled since 2007 when Facebook introduced the like button. This next chart shows that emotionally vulnerable kids are more negatively impacted by social media because over 70% sometimes feel left out or excluded when using social media.
We sent a survey to the entire Kent Place Middle School. These pie charts are our results. The first one shows that half of the respondents are from 6th grade. The next two charts tell us that most girls have a smartphone and use it about 1 to 2 hours a day. The last graph says that as you grow, your social media use does too.
In our survey, we asked rate social media on a scale of 1 to 10. The most common answer in this question was 5, because they know that there are good sides and bad sides to social media. And it's not terrible, but it's not perfect. A quote we got from our survey was, "It's really cool and there are so many things that you might find helpful, but also my self-esteem also went down because of it." This was from a 6th grader in our survey.
During our interviews, one parent said, "I felt on edge when my daughter was exposed to social media, that she could see inappropriate content even if it was just for a second." We created Together for tween and middle school girls to stay connected with their friends without the stress and risks of social media.
From the survey and interviews, we found a lot of concerns with social media for girls are age-inappropriate content and comments. This is our opportunity to solve this problem. We made our app without likes or comments. This is most effective because major social media platforms don't have a great way to moderate content. So we decided to get rid of these completely, so people don't get insecure about how many likes or how many comments and shares they get on their videos.
When you first log on to the Together app, it'll ask you, how do you feel and what do you want to see? Over time, you will develop a mood journal. This will help people learn about themselves and empower girls to feel that they have control over their emotions and they can make themselves feel happy and content. For example, if I chose food and sad, I clicked on a homemade chocolate cake, it'll give me directions on how to make a homemade chocolate cake, including the ingredients and instructions. In the Do You Want to Try section, we have book podcasts and sport challenges. These two functions are designed based on what we do at school, but have become difficult because of the pandemic. At school, we share and do recordings for our favorite books to post on the school's social media. Our users said they would love to listen to these podcasts. This is not currently possible because some middle schoolers do not have access to social media. The Together app solves this problem because our content is safe and trusted by parents. The last two screens show the Team Walking Challenge. This challenge covers over 5,000 miles. We set the challenge to be 1 million steps. If you have 5 girls in your team and everyone takes 25,000 steps a day, you can finish the challenge in 2 weeks or less. You can even learn geography as you do it. When I shared this idea with a coach, he loved it.
This is what the Together app looks like right now. We have coded a landing page, flow and create your account and log in to keep the content safe. The second page is the gallery. This is what will become the Do You Want to Try section. The third page is where you upload related topics such as food, sports, or photos. The fourth page is about us. If it all goes smoothly, we plan to submit App Store in mid-April and announce at morning meeting at Kent High School.
Together is a sanctuary where middle school girls share and inspire each other.
Great, thank you. So unfortunately, group 4 is not here to take questions, but we will save these questions from the chat and send them to that group. So group 5, you're up, the mask washing group or disposal group. So let's see, first question is, well, it's not really a question. Excellent topic, consider promoting cloth mask washing. And then here's your first question. Pickup bins, a clamp will work if all tend to drop masks in one area, but most do not. Consider a disposal container at exits. Not actually a question either. And then one more comment, consider a non-littering type campaign so students will not just throw masks on the ground. Would students, here's your first question, I think. Would students pick up discarded masks like people clean up after their dogs? What do you think? Group 5?
The concept was that people would be able to pick up masks that were on the ground or just like laying somewhere, but then also that people could bring their masks instead of throwing them away at a home trash or just like a garbage that would end up going to a landfill. And then the materials could be collected and used and like reused.
Great. Did you consider recycling masks for reuse as masks?
We did consider that originally, but we also thought that with the idea of reusing it in like feminine hygiene, it can give back to the community in a different way. And another aspect of our product was that it can be used more like after the pandemic. Well, there's no after the pandemic, but like once masks become less of a common thing and people need to find a way to dispose of them, then they can go back to the specialized cans and filter them and they can be donated correctly and not just be used in a landfill.
Great.
And then additionally, some people that wear cloth masks wear a filter in their mask, so those could also be disposed of and the materials can be reused.
Great. Did you find in your research that people were disposing of their cloth masks or mostly the polypropylene ones?
In our survey, people were mostly saying that they reuse and like wash their cloth masks with laundry and stuff. But I think everyone finds that eventually they break and they will have to be thrown away eventually. So that would be an option.
And then also, I know that some families have decided to start wearing paper masks. For example, my family decided that it may be safer per se to start wearing paper masks because of some of the things that the CDC says. And then also like my point before that there's filters that some people use with the cloth masks.
Great. And here's a comment. Hooray for group 5. I need those grabbers ASAP. I'm impressed by your problem solving as well as the adaptive nature of your process. Thank you for thinking about this important aspect of our new normal. And one last one. I love the idea and could see it implemented in public areas. Is there a lid on your design? How would you know when to empty and send off to the recyclers?
On our prototype, we didn't have a lid originally, but I think that would probably be a good addition to it, as that would make it like easier to sort. And it'd probably be, we think about disposal through a certain schedule, like maybe every week or so, or whatever we find works best.
And I guess if we started using it, then we could, I guess, almost collect data about how long it takes for them to fill up. And then depending on that, that would, I guess, decide how long or like how often we would empty them.
Great, that would inform you going forward, right? All right, group 6. Here's a comment, and a question. Excellent idea to encourage use of the Together app. How many of your peers are aware of its existence?
Right now we haven't told anyone, but we have interviewed some of our teachers and classmates and shown them the design.
Yeah, it's still in a prototype phase.
Okay, great. Could you partner with KPS for school-related activities?
We could do that, yes. So we could announce it at morning meeting so people that can't play can know about it and maybe download the app.
Great. How would the filter of inappropriate content work, and what is the bar? And what's the appeal of this app versus other social media, besides the fact that it filters inappropriate content?
Most apps actually are for older than middle school people. So when you're in middle school, social media, you're not actually supposed to be using social media. So this app would be specifically designed for people in middle school.
Great. Here's a comment. What a fabulous presentation, Group 6. I'm ready and willing to support your efforts and turn your research into reality in whatever way we can. I so appreciate your thoughtfulness and maturity as you consider the multifaceted impacts of social media. And then one last question. How would you ensure that the Together app users were all girls of appropriate age for your app?
So our app is for anyone, but it's mainly angled towards middle school girls. But like say if a boy came on, then you just roll with it. It doesn't really matter what gender they are.
Okay, great. All right, so that wraps up our questions for our middle school groups.
I want to congratulate all of our middle school groups. I can tell you that the judges are going to have a very difficult time in making a decision. We will make the decision about which of those 6 groups will get the seed money to bring their idea to fruition with further iteration and design and ethical design, I might add. And we're going to make that announcement tomorrow via social media. If you go to the Ethics Institute's Instagram or Facebook account, it will be announced at noon. If you don't get to see it at noon, I'll send out an email at the end of the day letting you know which of the middle school will be receiving the seed money. And again, I want to thank the E.E. Ford Foundation for their generous support of this program. So we are now going to let's give them all a big round of applause. And I don't know if any of the middle school facilitators are here now who are not here at the beginning, but the success of this program would not have happened had it not been for our facilitators who volunteered their time with the exception of Bing, and Bing, you get a special award as a parent who took on the facilitator role. But I would like for the middle school facilitators again to just introduce yourselves so that we can thank you for your guidance of our wonderful middle school ethical designers. So I see Anna has joined and with Juliana.
Hi, I'm Anna. I was the facilitator for Group 5, and I'm a junior from Tulane.
Are there any others who did not have the chance to introduce themselves before? Okay. Well, thank you again. Congratulations to our middle school group. We're going to take a 3-minute break and come back, and we will start with our high school teams.
Katie, I think it's fine. I'm sorry I was too harsh on you. You got great encouragement from Ko Haley. I jot down her quote here.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. So good evening to all of you who have just joined us. I'm Karen Rizak. I'm the director of the Ethics Institute, and we are thrilled to have you here tonight, so many of you, to join us for this Ethics in Action Design Expo. We just had an hour full of wonderful ethical designs from our middle school students, and now we look forward to hearing from our upper school students. I want to thank and acknowledge, first and foremost, the Ethics in Action team who have worked alongside me for like the past 6 years. This is the 4th iteration of Ethics in Action through the generosity of the E.E. Ford Foundation. So let me have my colleagues introduce themselves, beginning with Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Okana. I'm the STEAM coordinator at Scarsdale High School, and I'm kind of the design guru.
Marnie?
Hi, everyone. I am Marnie Emlich, and I am a STEM teacher at Golda Ak Academy, and I am thrilled to see some familiar faces.
Thank you. Lisa and Marnie continue to be consultants with the Ethics Institute, and I thank them for helping me to actually create and facilitate this program over the last 6 years. And our newest member, Francesca Menard.
Hi, I'm Francesca. I'm the Ethics Institute intern. I work on a lot of background work and logistic works for this program, and I'm a senior at Tulane University.
Great. Thank you very much, Natasha, Francesca, and Marnie, and Lisa. So very briefly, the Ethics in Action program is an innovative program that combines the study of ethics with the practice of design thinking. And our teams have been working for the past few months, focused on a local problem related to UN Sustainability Goal number 3, which is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. And so tonight, just as we did for the middle school students, we are going to decide which of these teams have developed a design that has the most potential to be sustainable and replicable, and they will receive $1,000 seed money to continue with the development of their design. And so I could not say enough about the facilitators who have helped us and who have guided our high school students over the past few months. And I see that some of them are here with us. So could the facilitators who worked with our high school students please introduce themselves? I see Tanner.
Hi there, I'm Tanner. I was one of Miss Yokana's students. I'm currently a sophomore at Duke. And it's really been an awesome experience. Miss Yo reached out to me in January, asked if I wanted to do this. And I definitely did not imagine how amazing it would have been. And my team was awesome. And I'm really excited to see their presentation tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Tanner. I can't see everybody on the screen. Is Erin with us?
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin. I'm a junior at Tulane, and my group put in a lot of work and they designed awesome projects. So I'm excited to see their presentation.
Thanks, Erin. Is Zach with us tonight? Okay, Emma Tran.
Hi, as Dr. Izak said, my name is Emma. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a junior at Tulane studying chemical engineering. And yeah, like Tanner, I'm excited to see my group and hear their answers to the questions.
Great, thank you, Emma. And Joelle.
Hi, I'm Joelle. I'm a junior at Cornell University. And same with everyone else. I'm just really excited to see everyone else's presentations and my group. And I think they did a really great job this semester.
Great. Thank you so much to our facilitators. Again, we could not have accomplished this without you. And of course, I want to thank the judges who are with us this evening. Dr. Marfugi, if you could say hello.
I can come off mute. Hello, everybody. This is such an honor. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Dr. M. Joseph Weisgold.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Tom Laughlin.
Greetings, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much to Tom and Richard and Joseph. Unfortunately, Poppy Jamie cannot be with us tonight because she is feeling ill, and actually she's in Great Britain. But she has received the pitch videos and will be contributing via the Google Forms to which the feedback for each of these teams. So without any further hesitation, I hand it over to my colleague, Lisa Yokana.
Karen, do we want to tell them how they will hear the results, or do you want to wait for that?
Well, you're going to hear the results tomorrow at noon. We're going to announce it on our Kent Place Instagram and Facebook page and Instagram, the Kent Place Ethics Institute. So you can go there at noon. And if you don't go there at noon, I'll send out an email at the end of the day announcing the two teams, one middle school, one high school.
Okay, so here's how it's going to work. We're going to do a block of 3 teams. So each of those three teams will have their videos played and you'll hear their presentations. And then we'll take 5 minutes for questions and answers. So anyone can put a question in the chat. You can either do it directly to me or to everyone. And then I'm going to monitor the chat. And when we have, after those first 3 groups have gone, I will ask them the questions and you will hear their responses.
Our first group tonight is Mask Appeal, and I have to publicly apologize to Natasha Wan for not including her in the first email, so apologies. Mask Appeal is Shafali Camilla, Eliza Locke, Charlotte Betts, Gabby Lieberman, Natasha, Diana Rigg, and Julia Messerman, their facilitator, Erin Brown.
Everyone, we're excited to share our project, the Clean and Caring UV Mask Cleaner. So who are we? We are a high school team from Kent Place School tackling the problem of dirty masks. How many times have you picked up your mask either after a long day or just after lunch and thought, is this still clean? Is it still going to protect me? As a mask is used, particles get trapped in it, making it less effective. This can be countered by washing it, but this is not the most efficient or eco-friendly method. Therefore, we wondered, how might we clean masks more effectively? We determined that a portable UV light device would make mask cleaning easier and more eco-friendly.
Next, we had to consider, is there a want and need for this product? After discussion with an AMT, we found that UV light is already commonly used for cleaning medical supplies. There are also people who often carry extra masks because they can't clean them on the go. In addition, we surveyed 117 members of the KPS community, friends, and family. 81 respondents said they were worried about the cleanliness of masks, and 93% of respondents expressed interest in our product.
The science. So the question on everyone's mind is, how exactly does UV light disinfect and clean masks? UV light is much stronger than the light found in the visible light spectrum. Specifically, UVC light's wavelengths can rearrange DNA in a way that hinders replication, which causes viruses like COVID-19 to become ineffective. It is harmful for people and other living things to come into direct contact with UVC light, but we have included safety features such as magnets to hold the container closed. How effective is UVC light? According to a study, exposure to UVC light can kill 99.7% of COVID-19 particles on a surface in just 30 seconds. In the future, we plan to conduct tests to determine the effectiveness of our specific product as well. Will UVC light harm how effective your mask is? The short answer is no. UV light harms mask effectiveness by less than 2%, but actually damages the straps more, which we have taken into consideration. So now let's talk about the product itself. There are many devices out there that utilize UVC cleaning technology, such as UVC lamps, wands, cabinets, and phone cleaners, but they're not suited for individual daily use because they're either very bulky or very expensive. Our goal was to create a product that the average person could afford and use when they're on the go. Why is our product unique and beneficial to our user? Well, first off, sustainability is an important issue in today's world, and we have incorporated sustainable materials that don't compromise on durability. Our product is also small, lightweight, and convenient for the average person to use on a daily basis. This is a model of our prototype. As you can see, there are inner and outer shells that house wiring to power the LED UVC light bulbs. Our design allows for mask straps that hang on the outside of the container with metal fasteners to hold them in place, ensuring that UVC light does not leak out of the container. The magnetic border also keeps the containers tightly sealed. A handle allows the user to carry the product with them or even attach a strap to personalize the product to their needs. The innermost layer of our product is made of an aluminum sheet or foil, which is extremely durable under UVC light. Aluminum foil boasts high
reflectivity, which allows UVC light to clean more efficiently. Recycled aluminum is also a great option for our product because it is cost effective and great for the environment as well. The outer shell does not come in contact with UVC light, so it is made with eco-friendly plastic that is sustainable and cost effective. We estimate that our product will take roughly 1 to 5 minutes to clean based on other UVC light products. More testing is necessary to specify further for our particular product.
Post-pandemic, as the COVID-19 pandemic begins to decline, we believe there is still a need for a product like this. There are still viruses and people will continue to wear masks and need ways to clean them efficiently and effectively. Our product can also be used for car keys and other small objects. Our team strives for reliable and efficient cleaning for the future while focusing on the utmost important issues of sustainability in our world today. Thank you for listening. Please reach out if you have any questions. We hope you put your trust in the UVC mask cleaner with C for Clean and Caring.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go to the pitch video for our next group, the Paper Chasers. Sajni Shah, Annika Bhatia, Abby Wall, Astrid Burns, and Ashani Wadwa.
I'm Sajni Shah. I'm Abigail Wall. I'm Annika Bhatia. And I'm Ashani Wadwa. And we're Paper Chasers. The problem that we identified was that the small action of using plastic bags in stores contributes to the devastating effects of climate change. We wondered, how might we convince small businesses in our community to stop using plastic bags? There are many reasons that this is an important issue, most significantly the grave state of our climate and the effect that plastic has on it. The Earth's atmosphere and oceans have warmed significantly in recent decades. As global temperatures increase, extreme precipitation will very likely increase as well, because a warming ocean creates a perfect environment for storms. While there aren't necessarily more hurricanes, they're getting stronger and there are more Category 4 and 5 hurricanes occurring. There are many health issues that occur as a result of climate change. Some of these effects are the development of respiratory allergies and the worsening of allergies for those who already have them, infectious diseases carried by vectors, an increased risk of epidemics, the safety of food and water supplies being endangered, and there could be extreme flooding and hurricanes. Many companies are pledging to reduce their carbon emissions, but it is important for these companies to match their actions to their words, since their sustainability statements don't usually have a lot of substance or aren't comprehensive. It takes many years for plastic to decompose, causing it to build up in landfills really quickly. It takes about 20 years for plastic bags to decompose, around 450 years for things like plastic cups. When it decomposes, toxic substances are released into the soil, and if the plastic is burned, the toxic substances are then released into the air, which is one of the many contributing factors to air pollution. Not properly disposed of, plastic can potentially pose a serious threat to both human and animal health. Animals like fishes and turtles encounter a lot of plastic in the ocean. They often mistake it for food and eat it, which blocks their digestive system. They could also get entangled in the debris they find in the ocean, which can cause starvation, choking, laceration, infection, and sometimes even death. Plastic along coastlines affects tourism, shipping infrastructure, energy production, fishing, and aquaculture negatively. This decreases the benefits from tourism and causes some coastal areas to face many economic losses.
So our solution is to spread awareness about the benefits of sustainable solutions and talk to small businesses about switching their bags from plastic to a more sustainable alternative. And we hope our users will be small businesses in Summit, New Jersey, the same town as our school.
After interviewing with the owner of a Places School store, we discussed how the places around our town and school are consciously making efforts to become more sustainable. The biggest example of plastic use in the school stores were the single-use plastic bags that were given with every purchase. This school year, Mrs. Kathy Nunick switched the paper bags, as well as motivating students to not unnecessarily use bags in general. The paper costs $31.45 per 100 units, and the plastic costs $20.42 per 1,000 units, or 100 units for around $2.04. This means that there is a 1,441.67 increase in price. However, with the end of plastic bag use and the sole use of paper bags in the store, there is a large decrease of waste now that there are no plastic bags. Another creative example of sustainability in the school store are the examples of the clothing used from recycled clothing and items. The League Reclaim Recycle Tee and Polar Fleece headbands are the newest items that were released, and the two items cost $20 and $18.
So I went to downtown Summit and interviewed the manager of West Elm, a furniture store. And I found out that for the full year of 2020, the company reported that their net revenue grew 7.2% to $5.7 billion from $5.3 billion a year ago because of their recent switch from plastic to paper bags full time. I also found out that they conducted a survey in May of 2020 around the height of COVID, where the results showed that the majority of the people who responded prefer the use of paper bags for their reusability. And because of this reusability, there's a greater reusability for bags equals a greater profit intake on their handheld items.
Sustainable alternatives would provide environmental stability while also introducing new methods of managing businesses. Some commonly found strategies used in local shops are as follows. Many stores have increased their awareness of their environmental impact by becoming more aware of where they get their supplies from and whether or not they're ethically sourced. The term for these vendors is called mission-aligned suppliers, or suppliers that use positive social and environmental practices by keeping a check on their use of labor, energy, and waste. Local shops can look out for these mission-aligned suppliers to reduce environmental consequences. Many places have also begun to utilize indoor plants to promote better air quality. The common house plant removes great amounts of carbon dioxide, which is one of the leading causes of global warming, and then replaces it with oxygen. They are also proven to remove numerous toxins and aid in the water cycle. A last alternative adopted by many businesses is LED lights, as opposed to the standard bulb lights. LEDs use 30 times less energy and emit less carbon dioxide than incandescent and fluorescent bulbs, while simultaneously increasing and reducing the carbon footprint on companies.
Prototype is a pamphlet with the information that we learned from our interviews and individual research. We plan to create physical copies of the pamphlets and give them to the store owners in and around Summit, New Jersey, to inspire store owners to make sustainable changes to help the environment and lead by examples that the surrounding stores create.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much to our second group and Zach, who is their facilitator, and I neglected to mention Erin, who was the facilitator for the first group. And now we'll have the third in our grouping, Home Vaccination Service, Arden Ella and Anira Kapoor, and their facilitator, Tanner Zaka.
So this is our ethics project, and we have decided to create a service called Home Vaccination Service, or HVS. So a little bit about us. We are a group of Kent Place Upper School students, pictured left to right: Ava, Ella, Claire, Abby, Arden, and Anira. The how might we statement that we have created for our project is, how might we create an initiative to help vaccinate homebound individuals in Summit, New Jersey, who have no access or experience with technology or assistance in transportation for the vaccine.
So what exactly is our problem? In general, most homebound elderly are unable to sign up for and receive a vaccine. In addition, even if they are able to get an appointment, some are unable or unwilling to leave their homes to receive the vaccine. Statistically, this is a great problem, especially in Summit, New Jersey. In fact, 13.2% of Summit's population is 65 and older, and only 37% of New Jersey's vaccines have been administered to seniors. Furthermore, some of the intricacies of our program include information regarding the vaccine, eligibility, healthcare knowledge, and transportation of both the vaccine as well as vaccine administrators.
Our design process. We use the design process throughout creating our project. We empathize with our user by realizing that it is important for the elderly to get the COVID vaccine because they are highly vulnerable to the coronavirus. We acknowledge that it can be hard for some elderly to use technology to sign up for the vaccine. Also, some elderly cannot drive themselves to get the vaccine. We define the problem to be that a low proportion of homebound Summit, New Jersey residents aged 65 and older have received their COVID-19 vaccine. We then ideated with many ideas until we came to our solution. Lastly, we prototyped and now have our design that we will test in the coming weeks.
The group of people we believe will be affected by our project is the homebound elderly population of Summit. These people are 65 and older, living without daily help and easy access to technology. Our project looks to directly address the needs of the user by highlighting the necessity of getting vaccinated, while also allowing us to help participate in both registration and administration of the vaccine.
So what exactly is our solution? We wanted to create an initiative similar to an idea derived from Meals on Wheels that would vaccinate homebound individuals. And we do this by partnering with existing organizations such as the VNA, which is the Visiting Nursing Association. We would allow community members to register for an elderly person they know through the Google form in a lot of our efforts, and then direct nurses to interact at their homes. And this can really be classified into 3 parts. First part being information and registration, the second part being mobilizing HVS in the form of 2 to 3 nurses with Summit, and this would naturally come with sponsors. And lastly, we would hope to save lives by actually administering the vaccine to the homes of these individuals. For context, here's an example of how our initiative would work. So in this case, we have Jane, who's 83, unvaccinated with no adult children and no knowledge on registering for an appointment and no technological experience. A neighbor in Summit signs her up for us to drop an informative flyer off, either through Meals on Wheels or us ourselves. And then we coordinate with registering her for an appointment while leveraging with the local nurses to either go deliver the shot or provide transport.
We have done a few things so far to gather information and create stronger connections to our Summit community. First, we reached out to Meals on Wheels, asking them to give out informational flyers to the houses they deliver to. We next reached out to Summit town officials to give out more flyers and find some statistics on the Summit population. Next, we reached out to the VNA, or Visiting Nurses Association, at some local hospitals to coordinate and mobilize a group of nurses that can hopefully join our project in the future.
And here's a picture of the flyer that we've created that we'd either distribute to local homebound individuals, or we'd give to the Meals on Wheels organization to hand out during their food runs. We have also created an Instagram account to reach out to our peers and other individuals in the Summit, New Jersey area in order to share our idea with the community. And we have also created a Google form in order to put on our account in order for our followers to fill out and share if they know of any homebound individuals in the Summit, New Jersey area who are interested in receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. And additionally, we've also joined Summit Facebook groups as a way to have better outreach to these homebound individuals. If we have the opportunity to continue our efforts, we would use the money to fully mobilize our efforts in Summit. We would be able to pay the nurses we utilize to administer the vaccine, expand our outreach programs, for example, finding volunteers, and overall gaining more support for our efforts. Thank you for all of your time, and we look forward to hopefully pursuing this project further.
Thank you very much to our 3rd group. I have to say, I apologize for neglecting to mention, in addition, Claire Bugliari, Ava Nalavala, and Abby Sampson, who are also part of that group, who joined Ella and Anira and Arden. So congratulations to that group, and of course, their facilitator, Tanner. So now I will hand it over to Ms. Yokana, who's going to facilitate the Q&A.
Great. Okay, so our first high school group, are you ready for your questions? Okay, here we go. UVC works well for solid surfaces and K95, I don't know, masks, but works less well for porous or dirty materials like cloth masks. That said, your design is terrific. Consider it for phones, keys, etc. So that was more of a comment. Here's another one. Is solar power an option for the device? Have you thought of that?
Yes, my sister actually just recommended that to me. That would be something that we would definitely try to put into as we are developing more. In a separate project, my friend and I is working on this device that would be powered by people walking. It's like a phone charger. So like we could even bring research of different sorts of powers, not just like solar stuff. So it could be a hand crank, it could be anything really, because yeah.
Just to add on to Natasha, we did consider solar power in the beginning of our project,
But when we sent out a survey asking people if they would even be interested in our product, they indicated that they would prefer electrical power. And then the second issue we ran into with solar power is that we couldn't find solar panels small enough to go on the actual case itself.
Okay, here's a tough one. What's your target price for your UV light? Because you said it will be affordable.
Natasha, I think you can take this one.
Yeah. So our target price is from $30 to $40. There are a couple online that are around this price, but a lot of them are smaller wands that the thing that we're trying to go over is like you would, instead of having to hold it over your masks for like 30 seconds, which is the amount of time that you probably would need to fully kill off all the germs, you could just like leave it in the container and it would clean itself. So around $30 would be our price. And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and adding on, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Adding on to what Natasha was saying about wands, the reason that wands can be tricky is that a lot of times they're about 12 to 13 inches long, meaning that they're not super portable and can get a bit clunky, and they're not sustainably made. And so that's why, wands aren't the best alternative.
And one last one, I'm not sure I understand this question. How would this potentially have health concerns regarding the safety of the light on one's skin? I'm not sure you're really talking about the light on one's skin, but do you have a response?
I can take this one. So we're trying to design our product to be as safe as possible. And we put in many materials, like including the magnetic borders. And from the research that's available to us, UV light does not directly harm you if you're not in directly under the rays. So only when it's being emitted will it cause harm. And when the container is closed, that will be the only time it would be happening. And once the UV light is turned off, the wavelengths aren't there anymore, and then it can't cause harm to you.
Great, thank you. Okay, next up are paper chasers. We have a comment here. Great idea that you focus on local businesses. Consider advocating for reusable bags or totes. They might be branded by individual businesses. Continuous advertisement. And then a question here. How would you track, measure, and communicate success of the program?
Well, I can answer this one. So I've been in with the company that I interviewed, West Elm. I'm still in contact with the lady, and she told me that she would tell me of their progress. And she said that they're actually in the process of purchasing a bunch of paper bags right now for all of the handheld items that can be carried. So that's actually a question I can answer very soon.
Great. It was interesting that the profit margin for West Elm went so high after the switch to paper bags, especially since on one slide you showed us that this was 1,000% increase in price in the switch from plastic to paper. Why do you think this is?
Well, plastic is cheaper to produce, and like paper bags, they're harder to produce, so they cost more. So you're getting like less product for more money, which is a concern for small businesses because they don't want to like lose money, which is why a lot of people use plastic bags. But we're hoping that like West Elm, you could see that there was like a benefit to them switching to paper bags. So we're hoping that they'll see like there is a cost benefit there.
And also adding on to that with the high price of paper bags, which comes directly from the amount of trees. If we have less trees is also another direct cause of global warming. Less trees, less paper, higher demand, higher price.
Great. One more for you. Have you considered a price penalty for plastic bags during the transition to paper to make up for the price margin, such as that seen at Aldi's?
I think something also related to this, I do recall that a few years ago, Trader Joe's did start an initiative similar to this. They were charging for plastic bags and making their default the paper bags. And that I do remember that it greatly increased the amount of paper bags that left the store as opposed to plastic bags.
We've also noticed in stores in our area and the stores that we interviewed, these stores aren't even asking like paper or plastic. They're only offering the paper.
So that's like a step in the right direction, because it's not even like there's going to be a consequence if you choose plastic. There's no like alternative besides choosing paper. So we think that that's a positive step that these stores are heading in.
Great. And last, did you find it an increase in the use of single-use plastic with the rise of COVID?
I can kind of answer that. So with the owner of the school store that I interviewed, she was talking about the increase of plastic water bottles and plastic drinks, just specifically in the store, especially when compared to the reusable water bottles that like Kent Place has to offer. Oh God. Sorry, I don't know if I cut out. So they are seeing an increase in that as well, but also they're seeing a change because there is a mandated person limit in the store. So there are less people coming in, buying things, getting plastic bags with them. So it's a drop in the plastic bags used in the store before they switch to plastic bags. And it's an increase in the plastic water bottles used in the store. So that's like another thing we need to overcome in the future.
Okay, great. And our home vaccinators. Okay, so amazing concept. What's your estimate of homebound individuals without transportation in Summit?
We reached out actually to our town officials regarding that, and that wasn't information that they were able to disclose to us. They could only give us the 13.2% of homebound individuals in Summit, but we also saw that the issue of transportation in this case kind of didn't apply as much, given that if they are homebound individuals with COVID-19, that we are really working off of the assumption that these are individuals that would be heavily compromised if they were to leave their household. And one of our primary concerns was, even if we were to give them transportation, would it be truly safe to put these elderly individuals in the long lines to get a vaccine, and would that compromise them even further? So our efforts more focused on the homebound individuals in Summit who didn't have access to technology regardless of the transportation angle, and who would be severely compromised if they were to leave their household, and how to help them.
Great. Here's a comment. This is not only essential, it's very feasible. The Summit Senior Center may be another resource as well for contacts. There's such a need for this initiative. You noted that 13% of Summit's population are seniors over 65. What percentage of seniors are homebound? And have you thought of homebound individuals who may have health issues not related to aging that you may have missed?
We don't have an exact percentage about individuals or elderly who are specifically homebound, because that was not information that could have been given to us personally. And then the second question was, did we miss any groups of elderly who have? Okay, so we didn't want to start off too broad, and we figured that it would be easier to start small and expand, just to see the scope that we could truly reach and truly affect. Because if we started too broad, we would feel that we missed some of the more important groups. And with age, as science shows, COVID progresses and becomes more dangerous. So we decided to focus on those. But if we have the opportunity to continue our project, we will expand our scope to elderlies that are not just at risk because of their age.
Great. Last question for you home vaccinators. How might you find any remaining seniors that don't show up through your partner organizations?
One of those, that was a really important part of our stakeholder sort of discussion, and how we make sure that we're not neglecting those who don't come up. And that's where we had this idea of, I guess, a grassroots effort within Summit. And that comes with the publication efforts that we're making with social media and the Google form. And we would hope that this community would sort of take on this shared responsibility of, if you know someone who may not have access to technology and is not partnered through Meals on Wheels, who's a neighbor of yours, you would at least sign them up so that we could drop off a flyer, or get the proper medical personnel to at least give them information on that, because we do have to realize that these are compromised individuals within our society, and sort of take on each of our individual responsibilities and efforts to ensure that they are getting the access that they need.
I also know that through Facebook, we have definitely joined a lot of summit groups and summit communities. So we're really hoping that like if we post, they'll maybe check out our account and stuff like that. And we have all the information and links that they could possibly need right on our account and very easy to find.
Terrific. Great. All right, that's all our questions for these 3 videos, and we're ready to move on.
Okay, I believe we have 2 more groups. So our next group are the Project Plexiglass group, and that's Margot Callahan, Emma Claire Quinn, Catherine Cepeda, Megan Altieri, and Claire Pawlowski. Facilitator, Emma Tran.
Our team name is the 505s, and our project is called Project Plexiglass.
Our team is made up of 5 group members, including Catherine, Margot, Claire, myself, and Emma Claire, and our facilitator, Emma.
The problem we were addressing through the ethics and which was, how might we repurpose and properly recycle and reuse plexiglass in order to decrease waste? We were challenged with coming up with a solution as there's a plentiful amount of plexiglass everywhere. But we feel that transforming the plexiglass into classroom tools would be the most effective way to help our community.
This is a problem because every space in our school is filled with plexiglass to protect us. Having the plexiglass on every desk creates a divide amongst students and brings about other challenges in the classroom. So after the plexiglass is no longer needed, we believe it will be quickly removed. Unfortunately, because there is so much, it will cause a lot of waste, and because it is plastic, it will never break down. We gathered information from our interviews about the most wasteful products that our school was producing. One of the main concerns we found was what would happen to all the plexiglass once it is no longer needed. By converting the plexiglass our school has already purchased into school supplies, we can prevent a lot of waste and promote learning in our school.
When looking into what other things people had created with their plexiglass, we came upon a few different ways, such as window panes, frames, easels for children, whiteboards, as well as a few others. We decided that we wanted to research more ideas as we were curious to learn more about other new solutions to our problem.
We conducted interviews with a variety of faculty and staff members at Kemp Place, some pictured on the slide, and surveyed the 9th grade at Kemp Place to gain different perspectives and opinions on the future pollution of plexiglass at Kemp Place.
We had 2 user personas, one for the 9th grade students and one for the faculty and staff. The questions that guided our interviews were, what is your user currently doing? What does your user say and think about this issue? How does your user feel about the challenge? And when does your user feel confident, positive, and motivated? These questions are relevant because they target exactly what the user thinks about the issue in a way that connects with their own personal values and experiences. The questions also allowed us to experience their thoughts in an empathetic way and gave us the opportunity to put ourselves in their shoes.
For the 9th grade at Kemp Place, our users acknowledge that plexiglass is harmful to the environment, but safety is a priority. Overall, most students acknowledge that it is a pressing issue and will become a challenge in the future, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to help provide a new way to repurpose plexiglass. For the faculty and staff at Kemp Place, our users thought that the issue of plexiglass is very relevant, and most faculty and staff believe that safety is currently a priority. And as soon as it is safe enough to get rid of the use of plexiglass, we should take action and do as much as we can to help our school be able to recycle as much plexiglass as possible. The image on the left is an example of a user persona.
Safety and responsibility influenced our solution. There was an immediate need to protect the KPS community, but address environmental challenges. With Mr. Woodall's guidance, we were able to use tools in the CFI. The CFI is the Center for Innovation, where students have access to many innovative materials, tools, and spaces, including jigsaw, table, and chop saws. These tools were used to create sample plexiglass models, including rulers, whiteboards, puzzle pieces, and protractors. Additionally, another innovative idea is to create birdhouses and sell for a KPS fundraiser. We started by creating prototypes out of cardboard. We used the prototypes once we got to the CFI and turned them into our products. We used our prototypes as templates on the plexiglass, making it easier for us to cut with the power tools. Our plexiglass solution benefits the KPS community and reduces pollution in the environment. By converting plexiglass into school supplies, waste is reduced, and students benefit from receiving free school supplies. If we continue working on this mission, we would consider selling birdhouses for a KPS fundraiser.
These are our article and image citations from our project and research. And thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation as much as we enjoyed working on it.
All right, great. Thank you. And our final group of the night will be Zoom enhancement. And we have in that group, if I can move this out of the way, somebody help me, please. There we go. Sorry. Mercure, Julianne, Sarika, Miranda, and Maya, and your facilitator, Joelle Ramson.
Our names are Mahra Khizr, Julianne Kwan,
Sarika Samaya,
and Narwan, and Maya. We have created an enhanced version of Zoom to facilitate younger students' remote learning experience. We have designed 3 electronic features that could be added to Zoom or another video conferencing app. Our Ethics in Action project falls under the category of enhancing an existing service. In this case, would be Zoom. We are adding on the features Zoom already provides its users. All previous Zoom functions and features are still there, including breakout rooms. We are just adding in extra functions that we would like to have in addition to the existing ones. Our users are kindergartners and first graders in a remote setting.
The era of Zoom has proved difficult for teachers and students of all grade ranges alike. As high schoolers who engage in remote learning, we empathize with these younger students trying to navigate the new world, this new world alongside us. Online learning can hinder the development of children's social skills and engagement in class. Parents have stated that the lack of personal interactions have resulted in negative social habits, such as not making eye contact anymore when talking at home, or talking loudly and shouting, since they are used to fighting for attention in a Zoom meeting. How might we design a product that allows kindergarten and first grade students to engage in meaningful interactions with their peers and teachers while maintaining engagement in a remote setting?
We interviewed stakeholders and sent out 3 surveys to students, parents, teachers, and specialists to help us identify specific problems and questions, which were modified throughout the design process.
The problem we addressed first was the lack of teacher supervision after students log off a Zoom meeting, especially in submitting assignments. So we prototyped a sticky note app for students and teachers to use. So as you can see with our app, students can add a new sticky note onto their computer home screen with any message they want and delete it when they're done with it. And we think this can build some really important organizational skills. But a teacher can also send a sticky note to their students. And the left is the teacher's screen, so they can send a sticky note with a message to any one of their students. And the student will get a notification as well as the sticky note appearing on their home screen, which they can also delete it when they're done. Lastly, a student can see their history of sticky notes on Google Chrome and restore any of them if needed. So we think that sticky notes can be an efficient way for teachers to kind of supervise students even when they're off Zoom, because they can send any kind of casual reminder that a teacher would normally send in a classroom, like remember to push in your chair, that normally you don't do on Zoom.
So the second
part of our product is new reactions. The reactions can now be sent privately to the teacher, which gives the students privacy and more one-on-one interaction with the teachers, which they mentioned was previously lost. These reactions can be manually taken down, which some on Zoom cannot. We added a thumb sideways and a thumbs down, so the user can express a larger range of positive and negative reactions. We also added more emotions, including happy, sad, confused, angry, and thinking. The technical difficulty and help buttons are there for students to reach out to their teachers more effectively, since some students cannot rely on busy parents. This gives the user more ways to get the attention of the teacher, since a parent mentions that their child is developing bad habits of interrupting and speaking very loudly. Lastly, we have chosen clearer and more representative emojis to help them start to understand their motions better.
The final part of our product is a new audio system that would allow participants to have one-on-one conversations in the main session. In the survey we sent out, we found out that many parents felt their child lacked one-on-one time with the teacher. So on the left side of the screen is student one Zoom, and on the right side we have the teachers. So the way this new audio system would be used is the student presses the arrow next to the mute button to display the participant list. They then choose which participant they want to have a one-on-one conversation with. In this instance, it's the teacher. The teacher gets sent a request and they click either yes or no. If they click yes, the screen of the person you are having the conversation with moves to the middle of Zoom. This helps our user because before teachers would have to go to the breakout room in order to have a one-on-one session. This means that they would have to leave the main session unattended, which would not be beneficial for the student. It also allows for more interaction and help from the teacher. Teachers also see if others need help as they are not in a breakout room and can see what's going on in the main session. It also allows for students at the beginning of class to socialize with their peers. We have chosen a project that is feasible in terms of time, money, and resources. The seed money will take our project a long way as we need assistance designing original emoticons for the reaction section, putting our ideas into a functioning video conferencing platform, and helping students like the ones in our community adopt these into their learning environment.
We believe that this is a very urgent matter because remote learning minimizes in-person interactions, which negatively impacts habit building for this select age group.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, we have a few questions for our last two groups. Our plexiglass group, great that you're thinking ahead. Consider hosting an art competition. Entrants would create their art using plexiglass. You might then have an art fair / auction for the benefit of KPS. I guess that was a comment. Project Plexiglass. Do you know how much plexiglass there is at KPS?
We did not receive any statistics from any teachers, but in most classrooms, there are around 18 seats and there's plexi around each of the desks. So you can kind of add up throughout the whole school.
Great. And what do you plan on using the money for?
I feel like something that we could use the money for is just like continuing to spread it, as we only were able to make just like a few different prototypes, but I think if we could create even more tools, it could reach more classrooms and more schools and stuff.
Great. And then one last one here. We love this idea of repurposing the plexiglass into birdhouses. Have you consulted with an expert in the field? The temperature in a clear plastic birdhouse might negatively impact the bird's health. Are there other prototypes aside from birdhouses that you have considered for a fundraiser?
We could also turn them, instead of birdhouses, into bird feeders. So it would just be the seed inside and you wouldn't have to worry about the safety of the bird.
Terrific. Okay, and our last group, Zoom, last but not least. Have you considered pitching directly to Zoom?
Thank you for the question. We are aware that
Zoom is a privately owned company, so we think that it might be beneficial to market this as more of an extension or something that you can download on your computer and add it onto your Zoom in that way. But that's a great idea, and we can definitely look into that.
Great. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, another possibility is that with some time and effort, we can also create our own video conferencing system using our ideas and making it function.
Terrific. How would a teacher react to multiple emojis and Post-its coming in at the same time?
Thank you for that question, and it's definitely something we considered, and we think that we could take this project further by consulting with some experts in computer programming and seeing how we could maybe make the Post-its more organized, or maybe create a separate website for a teacher with little boxes for each of their students so they can organize their Post-its.
Terrific. Two more for you. How would you monitor the use of a private chat during class if the students have the option to have a one-on-one conversation during class with another student that could result in distraction? Would there be an option to limit who would be able to talk?
Yes, so this private chat and private reactions, it's a lot like what we have now on Zoom. So you can private chat other students and the teacher, but the host can decide if it can only be to everyone or to the teacher. So depending on what time of day it is, if it's like time for break, the teacher can monitor what they would like to decide.
Great. And one last question and comment. I love the prototype. What would you do next?
Next, we are looking to connect this Zoom prototype enhancement system to a function video conference system. And we're not sure yet if it would be our own or whether we'd reach out to specialists and get help for that, but that is something that we'd like to do with the seed money.
Also, as with the incorporation of different aspects that we have considered with the overall design process, we hope that we will implement our designs as a community. And throughout that extent, we would like to connect it to more of a functioning video conferencing system and work with more kind of interconnected groups and more connections.
Terrific. And that is the last of our questions, Dr. Rizak.
Let's give all of them. I tell you, it's going to be an extremely difficult decision. I'm so impressed. I have to say that I've already gotten chats and different communications that even if you don't receive the seed money, some of these ideas really need to be pursued. And it's really been an incredible, Dr. M actually sent me a message. I'm so humbled. You really are an incredible, very, very, really incredible group of young people. I don't know if any of our judges have any final thought they wanted to say before we let everyone go. I remind you once again that we will make the announcement of which of the middle school and high school teams will receive the seed money tomorrow on our Ethics Institute's Instagram and Facebook accounts.
I think some of our judges might want to make some comments here, but I have to say, I think the future looks bright.
Very bright. Tom?
Oh, I'm blown away by how creative and thorough and thoughtful the designs were. So it's been a pleasure to participate in this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. M?
I just need to tell you how impressed I am by your level of scholarly research, your incisive thinking. You have gone way beyond what I can honestly say I've experienced in some of my graduate classes. Some of my graduate students don't come up with the ideas that you have. And so I feel so much more hopeful about the future with people like you about to take charge. And you're being led by amazing people who are devoting themselves to you. And I hope and ask that you make sure you thank them, because what you're getting is not run of the mill. This is exceptional. You have an exceptional school organization, your parents, the staff, the volunteers. I don't know what Tulane has to do with all of this, but there seems to be a heavy Tulane influence here. But anyway, I just want to thank you for allowing me to participate in this.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And again,
I just want to.
Yep.
Sorry, I just want to like echo what Karen was saying. You all took this ethics piece really seriously. The way that you're looking for ways to help people at the core, and to create products and services and educational programs. All of it is, it's really challenging to do, and you've done really beautiful things. Like just echoing what Karen said, whether you get the seed money or not, a lot of these ideas should just happen. You should just do them. So great work. Beautiful things ahead.
Thank you. I don't know if any of our facilitators had a final thought tonight.
I want to say thank you to all the facilitators. I know you all put hours and hours of work into this, and you all did an awesome job stepping in and leading these teams. And we thank you so much for your hard work and all of your dedication and time. And thank you so much. And thank you to all of the students as well who have dedicated their time to finding solutions to problems for others. We really thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Francesca.
Yeah, I think we all want to just echo that the facilitators have just been phenomenal.
Incredible. Tanner, I think I saw you unmuted.
Yeah, I wanted to say I didn't know what Kent Place was until Miss Yo threw me into this, and I am just astounded with this school. It's so like every one of the presentations, like even the middle schoolers tonight, like I was blown away. And I'm terrified to see what you guys produce in 10 years when the kindergartners are solving world peace.
Agreed. Thank you. Well, thanks to all of you. And it was really a tremendous night and so impressive. And if I could just ask the judges to stay on for a few extra minutes so that we can coordinate. But thank you again. Thanks to the parents and the friends who came and supported us. And I wish you all a very nice evening. Thank you very much. Okay, maybe they're not on. Wait, stop the recording, Francesca.